What is going on, my Go Squad? Welcome to Tactical Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, February 6th, 2018. Just want to welcome everybody to a wonderful sleeting and frozen rain night here in Arkansas. I hope everybody is safe and sound and weather's not driving you nuts. I know this up north, you're getting quite a bit of snow. Hope everybody's safe there. Before we get going, I want to welcome the chat out there, and if you're out there and you're wanting to say hello, please do. On the YouTube side, we've got a pretty nice crowd already building up. Let's see who all we have. We can't see you if you don't say anything, so at least say hey in the chat room so we know that you're out there. We got Patron in the Dark. He's been here for about an hour and a half. You got Tag Daddy, who's in here. John Z, who's in here. You got Midnight Range TM. What is going on, Travis? You've got Rich White, the 1% is out there. Howdy, gang. Tar Dot. Grim's in here as well. Let's see here. We got Cycle Camp. Rich White. Man, you guys been chatting away out there, haven't you? Holy cow. How long do y'all get in here? You got CS Blue. What's going on? How you doing? Scott Pacini. You got Hemi out there. What's up? What's up? Midnight Range TM. Zippy, how's it going, Zippy? Rigo, how you doing? It's 64 degrees in Cali. Must be nice. Must be nice. On the Gun Channel side, we got Night Strike, Ohio 45 ACP, Rick's Life's I See It, The Pants. Ralph, what's going on, Ralph? I hope everyone's doing well out there. Let's see here. Before we get going, we want to introduce our panel guests. We're trying something new, guys, and I'm really happy to have this happen. You guys all know John Z, and he's a great friend and is on a lot of people's shows, but I've been working with John here for a week or two trying to work on some plans for this particular chat, and I'm very honored and pleased to bring him in. And John is going to be our for foreseeable future is going to be our producer engineer. So John Z is now producing the show, and he's going to be working on the chats. He's going to be doing our public service announcements and basically keeping us in line. So thank you so much, John, for hopping on board as producer engineer, and we're greatly appreciative to have you, and welcome aboard.
Thanks. You got it, and pleasure is mine.
Right on. Let's go through the panel real quick from the great state of Connecticut. We've got Cycle Camp. How you doing, Bill?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Thanks a lot for the invite. I appreciate it.
Always. From Texas, we've got Tar.357. What's going on?
Oh, not much. Thank you for the invite.
You got it. From Colorado, we've got a good friend of mine who's been on the show once before, and it was several months ago, early before I even came to Gun Channels. We were talking about AR builds and all of that, but the Feisty Crawfish, what's going on, Kyle?
How's it going, brother? Good to be here.
Thanks for coming on. We've got the Reaper himself, Grim90. What's up, Grim?
How's it going, everybody? Thanks for the invite again, and hopefully we'll have a little fun here.
Are you guys out of school right now with all the snow, or are you still in school?
Snow? Yeah, it's snowing. We're still in school. It's got to be a blizzard.
All right. And from the Sunshine State, I guess is what y'all are called, Florida, you got the Tack Daddy himself is in the hizzy. What's up, Tack?
Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good one. And that guy is feisty. He was starting shit right up against your start time. Yeah, we're going to get on him later. Don't worry. He thinks he got me there.
That's okay. I can put up a fight.
Don't forget about Draco's. We'll bring it up later.
Oh, Draco?
No, I'm just kidding. He's good.
And then from this great state of Texas, the tactical leprechaun himself, Clover Tack. What's going on, my man?
Not a lot. Good to be here. Thanks for the invite. Hello, everybody.
Andrew Faulkner just joined us. Welcome, Andrew. How are you doing on the YouTube side? Guys, we're going to talk real quick, as we always do, about the Gun Channel side. And Gun Channels is a great community It is free to join. It's kind of the water cooler of the gun community where we have a 24-hour live lobby chat going all day, every day that you can jump on in if you'd like. And if you just want to sit there in the chat and just type along with you, but you can actually jump in on the hangout and talk guns. And I promise you, being in gun guys, we can only talk guns so much. So sometimes the conversations get a little off topic, but that's always fun. We can talk about cars and food and anything and everything under the sun. But you guys, if you're not familiar with GunChannels.com, come on over and Cycle says, glad we're the water cooler now. It used to be the YMCA locker room. So let me get the link out there to Gun Channels real quick on the YouTube side, because if you're on the Gun Channel side, then you already know where it is. Let's see here if I can type any faster or not. There we go. GunChannels.com, guys. So John Brown, what's going on? So I think I said hello to Philo. How you doing, Philo? Let's get one more check over at the Gun Channel side and see if anyone else has jumped in. Doesn't look like it. We're going to take a few seconds real quick to do a public service announcement. So John, you ready to go?
Ready when you are.
Go for it.
All right, time for a commercial break. Okay. Crap. Can you just present me? Don't mind.
Go ahead and present you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and get over here to the Hangout so you can do a video. All right. So John, you are being presented. So go for it.
My Windows messed up. Son of a gun.
We can see it. We can see it.
Yeah, it's the wrong window when you refreshed.
All right.
Oh, cockapoo.
Hey, we are live, John. You know that, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'll go real quick, guys. John, his stuff.
I got it.
Great.
Hey,
right,
don't forget to check out.
So we're doing this live.
Yeah. Don't forget to check out ghosttactical.com. If you have any questions for him, you can reach out to him at live@ghosttactical.com.
.us.
I apologize. And that's why it didn't work.
It's all good.
All right. Also, don't forget to check out Gun Channels, as the website is upgrading, and we are in the works of getting a app for the phone. So go ahead and check out the Indiegogo, support GunChannels.com, and you'll be able to check out GunChannels.com on your phone as well. 46% there. Only got a little more to go. So go ahead and support GunChannels.com for the upgrades of the website.
Right on. All right, yeah. G-Webs is working on upgrading Gun Channels as we speak. He's actually probably doing that right now. I know he's been really busy. What's up, Clay? How you doing? The best thing about what he's trying to do is he's trying to make it a little more seamless, a little more user friendly. But he has been getting a lot of requests for an app, which is phenomenal. But apps are not free; they do cost a little bit of money. So what he's asking is to help out a little bit, since it is a free community. Maybe you guys are willing to throw a few bones his way to help with offset the cost for the app, which I think a lot of people are wanting. So if you're interested in helping out G-Webs and Gun Channels, go ahead and go to that Indiegogo link right there. And yeah, hey, Gunpowder Beauty, how you doing? But yeah, we'll like to have you guys join the support team for Gun Channels. And I know G-Webs is working hard trying to get everything up and going. So if you like to help them out, go ahead and check out the Indiegogo. If not, then still enjoy Gun Channels as we know it. So there are some cool things that I've discussed with G, and I know Clover has as well the last couple of months. And the when it gets all done, Gun Channel is going to be a revamped place, and it's going to be kind of really a different but the same. But got some really cool things coming down the line for Gun Channel. So go check us out, and if you're willing to help him out, then I'm sure he would love to do that.
And while we're talking about supporting, please feel free to go ahead and go to ghosttactical.com at Patreon. Go ahead and support the channel over there for all the great content. GhostTactical.com.
.us.
.us.
All right. So what we're going to do real quick, guys, is we're going to go ahead and get kicked off in our first topic. And our first topic, guys, is, newbies at the range. And the reason why I want to go with this one is I was at the range this past Sunday getting some work in and shooting a couple of videos. And the cool thing about it, there was all of a sudden a lot of people just showed up to the range, and we had people that have been shooting for years and years and years and years. And you had a father and son show up that have been shooting for like less than 2 months. And then you had a husband and wife show up. They've been shooting for about a year, and they carry every day, and they're just trying to be more proficient. So it was really a kind of a cool. John's out there. Car carry, what's going on, Car? So it's kind of a cool dynamic of people at the range. I have been on the range before with someone that's maybe their first or second time. That's right, Rich. That's right. The cool thing about it is the most important thing is there are things that they need to know. Obviously, when they go to the range. But I want to go through the room real quick and say, first of all, what are things that beginners need to know about the range? But more importantly, what are our responsibilities in you guys' eyes? Is how we receive them, or how do we go about helping them at the range? We do have responsibilities as the range to newbies also. I know that sometimes we're just out there trying to get our own work in, but to make a safe environment and all of that, a more enjoyable environment. Let's go through the room real quick, and we'll start with Clover. Clover, what do you think about newbies at the range?
Well, I mean, the first thing you have to do, obviously, is pull out the cell phone and start recording. That way you can upload it to YouTube later. Then the second thing is probably to admonish them about their choice of firearms that they have on the range. So once you get those out of the way, of course. No, I mean, it depends. I guess it depends a lot on the range. And I know here in Texas and a lot of rural area and whatnot, there's ranges that are not manned. I mean, they have no RSOs or anything like that. And so it can be, you can run into a lot of different issues. You really have to tread softly. If you're talking about a range with RSOs, then there's really not usually a lot you have to worry about. They usually have the rules posted pretty well. They have, a lot of them have the lights when the firing line is clear, red and green, red when it's hot and green when it's cold, that sort of stuff. If you're on one where it's, and again, there's several here, close enough within driving distance for me that are not manned, make sure that, whoever owns that or make sure that you keep an eye out to be sure that all the signage is up for the range rules and the stuff like that. And, if somebody comes up and they're within, close proximity to you, if they're shooting a few lanes over or something like that, I mean, it's a good idea to, if you don't already know who they are, a good opportunity to go over there and shake hands and meet with them and chat with them for a few minutes, more than anything for your own peace of mind, just to kind of figure out what kind of person you're dealing with. If they're one of those people, then, you might decide you want to pack up your stuff and just go home and come back another day. You know what I mean? But I think that's probably the first step is going to be to, extend that olive branch, meet with them, and kind of get a feel of who they are, what they're there to do. Do they seem like one of these I don't know, tactical guys that's not going to be paying attention to the rules and they're there to just spray and pray and goof off, or that somebody there, that is respectful of others, respectful of the property, that sort of thing.
That's right. Psycho Camp. What's going on there in Connecticut? Or you guys do have a lot of indoor ranges, I'm assuming, during the wintertime, don't you?
Nope. Our the range. I'm actually on the board of directors for the Marksman's Club that I belong to, and we have an outdoor range that's at the end of a dirt road in a rural area surrounded by agriculture. And we're actually dealing with this very issue right now because we have about a 10% turnover rate every year. So we get somewhere between 15 and 30 members brand new members every year. And we were having a hell of a time. We used to make people sponsor other people into the club, and we kind of tried to put the burden on them. But what we found was it was so difficult to get any consistency. So basically what we've done is we've changed our strategy, and now before they even put in an application, they have to come down to the range with a designated person. And we actually have a standard checklist of about 10 or 11 different things that we go through with them to make sure they've read and understood the range rules, that they know how to safely operate their own firearm, and they understand the basic commands that are given, what to do during a ceasefire, what to do when a line is called hot, things like that. And that the biggest thing is safety, safety, safety. But the other thing that we stress with them is because we are not a managed range, kind of like what Clovertac was talking about, because we are a range that's out in the middle of nowhere with no services at all. It's up to the individual members to police each other. And when I say police, I mean in a good way, not a running behind the scenes and squealing, ratting people out, but just to make sure that if you see somebody doing something unsafe or against the range rules, that you stop over and say, hey, I just want to remind you, you're not allowed to shoot shotguns on the pistol range. You're not allowed to fire shotguns at our frames. You have to have your own frame. Not allowed to use ground targets, things like that. The more nuanced kind of things that people tend to forget, as they've been in there for years and years. So the biggest thing is safety, safety, safety. And if you see somebody doing stuff like that, go over and talk to him and let him know that he's off the rails.
Yeah, my range here where I live is very similar. We don't have any safety officers there. It's there's a padlock on the gate. You unlock it, you go in, you do your thing, and you leave. There's nobody there, a safety officer type. So yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing is there are things to do and things not to do that some of these newer shooters don't necessarily know. And like you said, it is kind of our responsibility to make sure that if there aren't any safety officers there, that we make sure that they know what the safety rules are. They might just go out there literally with a gun and some ammo and just start shooting and not have a clue as to what they're supposed to be doing. Grim, what about you? What do you think? What's your experience with new shooters at the range?
Kind of like Cycle was saying, starting mid last year, we got actually our gates are our RFID cards, and now everyone has to wear a badge, and you have to have the badge out, and each colored badge tells you, obviously for newbies, we have a red badge. Their badge is red for the first year and a half, and it's up to us to kind of police each other, like he was saying, in a good way, and we're supposed to, this does, like you said, you always have that one that thinks they know it all. But, a lot of the times that's what it is. I mean, sometimes just driving down to whatever, bay I'm going to be in, it's like, hey, how you doing? Or they'll ask questions, or, some of us will stop, or you get the newbie at the end. But they should be well-versed, in the rules. But we should also be helping them. We do have RSOs, but everybody's volunteer. So that's hit or miss. Some days there's somebody. Some days you have 10 of them. Some days you have nobody. But it was like you said, kind of reading that body language. Are they spraying and praying? What are, just those things. But that's the big push we've had. And we send emails out pretty much monthly now. Help the other ones out. We've had, they just had an orientation, I don't know, in the last 2 weeks or so. So we got about 20 new members because we're capped out. And another email blast. Make sure, we're helping each other out. But like you said, not squealing so much, but, safety, safety, safety. Have the cone out. The range is either hot, whatever's going on. And, but the biggest thing is, like you said, just go up and talk to them. I usually, if I jump in a bay and there's someone, I'll hang out, get their attention, go talk to them, and then kind of read them, see if they're a newbie or see if they're, or just see if they're, like as I say, I'm not trying to be the a-hole here, but see if they're competent. I mean, not that I'm, I know everything, but at least on safety. That's, I don't want to be in the same bay with someone that, you've seen where they're sweeping to the sides and turning around and you're downrange and they're, playing with the handgun behind you and you're just looking like, so I don't know. That's what we've done at the range this year or in the past year and a half is trying to get everybody to, like help the newbies out.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be with, you know.
Hey, Ghost. Lockjaw says his first trip to the range, the RSO, kept walking around with them from bay to bay while holding his loaded pistol in hand.
The RSO was holding a loaded pistol?
No RSO. No.
No, so.
Yeah, you misread it. That's all.
He's saying there was no
On his first trip to the range, there was no RSO on the range, and there was a guy that kept going around them from bay to bay holding his loading pistol in his hand, which would have got him thrown out of most ranges.
Yes.
Yeah, not only thrown out, but probably banned from the range. Wow. I'm assuming that meant Lockjaw. Does that mean there was only one RSO at the time, so he couldn't be paying much attention to everybody else? That's scary. That's scary. Tack, what's going on down in Florida? You guys have anything that y'all do to implement new shooters at the range or anything?
I don't even know where to begin. I just know that at this point, it's become a regular part of my MO to like visually scan everybody that's in there before we get busy, and then still at some point make sure my daughter's within the bulletproof area at all costs. I've even considered wearing a vest.
Really?
Yeah, I see the craziest shit, man. I see again, and half the times the RSOs care, and half the times they're just not paying attention, and it's just the way it is. And even in good ranges, and there's a couple places here that are great. However, you see stuff that, and again, go to your average range, look left, look right, and look up, and look at how many bullets went in those areas.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked how many bullets are on the left and right in the range, and not to mention straight up. So that alone should give you a pretty good warning that not everybody is capable of putting shots on paper, even though that's what they're there to do.
Well, we know just by watching Night Strike's videos that some people have a very difficult issue with getting rounds hitting the paper or the tannerite or anything, even from 5 feet away. Just saying.
I think one of the biggest things that I would say in this discussion is that if and there's a couple videos of me taking newbies to the range and all that fun stuff, and just one of the biggest things is dry fire for a good long time and then really explain to them and hold them to the standard of you're going to get excited and you're going to want to turn your entire body towards me after you hit the target. Don't. Never point the gun. Right. It happens every time. But even when you tell them, and then it's your responsibility to, again, be in a physical position where you can stop them from doing that, because odds are their finger's still on the trigger as they're making that move. So that's the big one for me, and I see it all the time. Yeah. The other thing is, honestly, if you want to go to a range and be the guy that corrects newbies all day, you can do that all day.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Bullseye? My thing is if I see someone that is, I mean, and some of the times it's obvious. It is so blatantly obvious that they're new to guns or to the range, and that's okay. I want to make sure that they feel welcomed and all of that, and hopefully they've been instructed about the safety and all that. But once they get past that, I'm there to get work done myself, so I don't want to babysit, but I do want to make them feel welcome. And if they have questions, let them know they can always come and ask me a question or something. But
I got another one for you, Trey, that just hit me. So one of the gals that I ended up taking and actually giving a real world lesson to was when I spoke to her. She's a nurse and she works with my wife, and she called me and we had a conversation. So I said, what's your experience? What have you done so far? She said, well, I went to the range once. I said, oh, really? Who'd you go with? And she said, no, I went by myself. I said, hold on. So you went to the range. Did they rent you a gun or something? She's like, yep. I said, so you've never held a gun before. You've never shot a gun before. You went to the range. You rented a gun. You went out onto the range. You figured out how to get the bullets in. She's like, yep, I've seen a lot of videos and movies. I said, okay. And then she said, yep. And then when I started shooting it, those bullets went all over the place. She said, I couldn't hit what I wanted to at all. So, of course, no one showed her how to hold the gun. No one showed her how to stand. No one showed her how to focus on sights. No one showed her how to press. No one showed her anything. But the point is, you have to remember, there are people that wake up in the morning and are like, screw it. I'm going to go to the range and shoot a gun for the first time. I mean, it happened. And this is a smart girl. This isn't some dummy. I was shocked. Yeah. But I was also like, she, again, she was at the point, she was like, I need to do this because I want to get this license to be a PI. I need to familiarize myself. I don't have any resources. I'll just go. And no one at the range ever asked her a question. Well, so keep that in mind. You could be on the range next to someone who literally is shooting their first mag.
Yeah. Kyle, what's going on? In Colorado, you guys have got some really cool ranges out there. And
yeah, I'm still waiting.
You've been all over the place. So I know you probably come across a lot of new shooters.
Oh, yeah, all the time. So one of the big things, at least for me, aside from trying to sell them on the benefits of owning a high point pistol, of course, is, you get different types of people that come in. I mean, it's a joke. Yo, calm down. Good God.
You better be trolling me right now. We're gonna have.
I mean, if you couldn't read the sarcasm there, I'm sorry, but you may be a social. I don't know.
Fighting for all is in rare form tonight.
You know it, feisty as always. Anyway, but you get different types of people that come into the range, and all your new shooters don't fit into the okay, I don't know what the hell I'm doing category, right? You'll have new shooters that come in that do their research. They know exactly what they're doing. They're practicing something that they've read or that they've watched, right? So at least they have some exposure. And on the other hand, you have people who come in who have had no exposure, have done no research, and just know that sometimes they don't even know that you pull the trigger to make the gun go boom, right? They don't know the function of the weapon, but they know what a pistol looks like. And, but to me, the big thing is that it's not always I guess the right word would be appropriate thing to approach and someone that we perceive as being a new shooter and giving them pointers. Sometimes people take that as, not infringement, but it's like there are boundaries that some people have that kind of crosses, right? On the other hand, though, I mean, I'll give you an example. So I went to the range over here recently, which is an indoor 50-yard range, I think it is. And there was a couple next to me, and I noticed that the boyfriend or fiance, whatever, I don't think they were engaged, but he was shooting, and the girl that was with him was flinching and like grabbing her ears under her earmuffs every time that he shot. And so I kind of looked over and I asked, "Are you doubled up?" Because she was obviously, not having fun with the sound of that pistol going off, and she didn't understand me the first time, probably because tinnitus was setting in. But I asked, "Do you want a pair of earplugs?" And the boyfriend, I guess, caught wind that I was trying to give her. Yeah, exactly. I guess the boyfriend caught wind that I was trying to give her a pair of my earplugs to double up on it, and he got all pissy with me. And I was like, have fun not hearing for like the second half of your life. But, sometimes people are not going to appreciate it, right? And I guess that's half how you approach the situation and half how the people are and what boundaries they have.
Hey, Ghost, we got a great comment from Gunpowder Beauty. Third strike and they are gone for good. Every range should have a 30-minute video that requires all new people to be watched the first time they're at that range to make sure no stupid stuff happens.
Well, with regards to that, I know that my range, actually, when you go there, you have to sign a waiver if you're a new shooter. and you have to sit in. I think it's a 20-minute lecture on basic gun safety and handling rules and techniques, which I think is a great thing because you're giving them some exposure that they may not have. Again, it comes down to, what do they know, right? What do they know going into?
And you're talking about like a third strike in your head, like Gunpowder says. I mean, if you have to be put in timeout or banned for, and it's obviously not just anything simple. It's probably something that's a very serious infraction in the safety rules. If you're getting kicked out of the range and you do that 3 times, not only should you be banned from the range, but there's probably a good chance that you probably shouldn't own a firearm at that point because you're obviously a danger to anybody else in society if you have that gun in your hand. So I think that the training is a necessary thing, especially if you're new. Go through a little course at the range or whatever that explains everything before you just grab your gun and say, "Hey, I think I'll go shoot today." Now, Gunpowder was talking about that, and Tardot can probably elaborate a little bit more as you have firsthand knowledge of that as well. So, what's going on in Garland, man? They're banning people for life from the range, or what?
Well, we got about 2 separate ranges we use on occasion. One is actually an outdoor range. They actually consider it the Garland range, and they're the ones that actually have you watch a 30-minute video before you ever go onto the range about all the safety protocols, what to do when we say the range is hot, what to do when we say it's cold, all of that. And then the other range is an indoor range where you go in and you read the rules and you sign a waiver. And then honestly, the outdoor range, even with the precaution they're taking there with having people watch a video and everything else, I can tell you right now, that is the only range because they'll have it. Each of them have RSOs. The outdoor range has an RSO sitting on the line, dead center, because they run pistol on one side, rifle on the other, and then on the far end run trap. And he'll be sitting dead center. But the outdoor one is the only one that I've actually had a gun aimed at me when a girl got excited about shooting the target. And her boyfriend handed her a gun, backed up, and said, "Go for it." She shot it and got excited. And as I turned to see what was going on, of course, I'm looking at a barrel of a gun. I just kind of stepped back. I talked to her a bit about it. Of course, her boyfriend was one of those macho types, so I just kind of stepped out of the situation, backed up, and I was like, until they walk off, we're not, because they weren't listening. I was like, I ain't even gonna mess with it because she'd already pointed at me once. But we spend more time at our indoor range, and they're a little more safe. They don't have the RSOs actually on the range, but they run camera systems inside the range and monitor it while they're out on their shop floor. So they run it that way. But the outdoor one's the one that has been more, I guess, specific about you break the rules 3 times, you're banned, and that's it. And I mean it's for good reason because I mean that one time that kind of freaked me out when I turned and all I see is a gun's pointing right at me right there on the range. So.
Yeah, I mean, you sit there and you're talking about the first time, and I think we've all either broken a safety rule or been extremely close at least once in our lifetime, even as a beginner or something like that. We've all had something that's happened that was questionable, even if we weren't meaning to. It's just something that happens. But you get that first strike. You would think that would maybe push someone to learn a little bit more. I know there are some ranges out there that, let's say, I don't know if they have a 3 strike, but let's say it's a 3 strike. After the first strike, you at that point you have to go get more instruction or training before you can come back on your own to the range. There is a range about half an hour from here that if you do get a safety violation or whatever, then you have to go for the next 5 times to the range. You have to schedule a time and have an SO with you while shooting, which I don't think is a bad thing at all because at that point they're going to teach you different things so that hopefully there's not this second strike ever again. But like I said, if you're getting 3 strikes, I was completely joking.
Believe me, they run that 3 strike rule and they stick to it because there's been some people that we've seen at that outdoor range that end up banned. And they don't, and it's not something where they just come up to you and just say, hey, don't do that again and walk off. They will come down there and spend time with you to explain the exact rules, what's going on, why you're getting a strike, everything. And but I feel like, as those of us that are experienced, yeah, I mean, there is a point when it's our place to step in and say something. You know, hey, you need help, things like that. Personally, I've taken new shooters to the range a few times. My brother, my aunt, several of them, and it goes just beyond the safety stuff with it when it comes to that too. Because I'll actually sit there and try to correct their form and everything else, so that way we're not. There's no concern at all.
Got never enough ammo in the house. Matt, if you want to join, let me know. I'll send you a link. Scott Pacini actually put a thing up there in the chat that says, has anyone seen the video of the instructor who put the revolver round through the roof while showing off? I have seen that. He tried to play it off. He tried to play it off as if it was him to do that. And the guy actually asked him, "Hey man, did you mean to do that?" He goes, "Oh, of course I did." But yeah, he was trying to be the cool tactical instructor, act like he's a dog, and he had an ND. There's no other way to put it. He had an ND, and he tried to play it off as if it was meant to be. But that video is actually pretty funny. I don't know if you guys have seen that before or not. It was an
it definitely sounds like quite a few people have had that experience with negligent discharges. No ROs, SOs on the range, and people are basically left up to their own vices to make sure no one got hurt. And with that having been said, it's time for our second commercial break. If you could screen share me, please.
Real quick. There you go.
Okay. Okay, why is it not showing up on my side?
It's not showing up on our side either.
Yeah, what's going on?
I do not know.
I'm not screen sharing, am I?
All right.
Okay.
Well,
all right, so
no,
forget
you
the
are
screen
not.
sharing. With that having been said, don't forget to check out the Ghost Tactical YouTube website and check out all his recent videos. He's got a video doing with an interview with Paralympic shooting bronze medalist Mika Nadal. Range Day with Ghost discussing Hickok 45 and the SHOT Show, the SAR 9. He's got plenty of other videos you can go ahead and check out. So go ahead and to the YouTube website and check out ghosttactical.com. Also, please go check out the ghosttactical.us website. Thank you. And check out his other links for all his social media. He's got his Patreon link. He's got his t-shirt links, sweatshirt links. He's got his Ghost Tactical link for the GunChannels website directly, Facebook, Twitter, and Wix, and also links to more recent videos. So please go check out ghosttactical.us. Thank you. And now back to our show.
Right on. Yeah. That's a special kind of self-promotion right there, boys and girls. In case you were wondering, the master doesn't have to do his own self-promoting. He can get someone to do it for him. So, I'm taking self-promotion to a whole new freaking level, boys and girls. You better step up your damn games.
Remember,
creator. I'm a 3-bit fucking creator now.
Just remember, you stole the idea from us. You stole the idea from us and John.
That's I gave you the idea.
Well, okay, yeah. You gave us the idea, but yeah.
But I implemented it ahead of you guys. Yeah. Real quick before we get going, guys, into topic 2, I want to talk about the drill of the month. January's drill of the month. We had some awesome video response to. And this month's drill of the month is going to be posted up this weekend. I'll also have the Patreon drill of the month for February being posted this weekend. They're kind of a fun game, and I enjoyed the game type. This month is going to be pretty cool. If you like shooting pool, then you're going to like this month's drill of the month. But the January drill of the month winner shot a 6-round perfect score on the dartboard, and that was Sarge. So C4 Defense, the Sarge, is the January 2018 drill of the month winner. Congratulations. Let's see here. I am revisiting history, Rich says. Whatever you say, Rich, it's all good. But no, John's a multi-talented person. He can have many different shows. He is going to be joining a show with Tardot and Gunpowder Beauty and 1%. I believe it's called Unloaded Media. Is that correct, Tardot?
Yes, it is.
All right, it's going to start next Sunday. Is that correct?
It's actually going to be starting Saturday.
Saturday,
It's going to be
Saturday. This coming Saturday.
Saturday. Rich will probably correct me on this, but I think it was Saturday at 9:30.
9:30 Eastern.
Yes, sir.
Right on, right on. Well, we'll make sure we get a plug here before the show's over. But if C4, I know Sarge was out there earlier. If you're still out there, uh, send me an email. I think I've got your email already, but send me an email anyways at live@ghosttactical.us. Send me your address. I've got some stuff for you for a drill a month, and I might even throw in some SHOT Show swag in that as well. So congratulations. He had a perfect score, 6 shots and 6 bullseyes. So pretty good shooting right there. So we'll be unleashing this weekend. Be on the lookout. Probably Saturday, the February drill of the month. It's going to be a cool little game, and make sure that you guys get your video responses coming in. Well, guys, let's move on into the topic number 2. Now, this is going to be kind of fun because I think we've all, how much is the ghost paying John Z? Too much, apparently. Just kidding. I'm just messing. Yeah. So topic 2 is we're going to talk about is the evolution of our gun buying. I think we all kind of started out buying our very first gun or inheriting our first gun, but when we bought our first gun, it was probably for a specific reason. Either we were going to go hunting, or we wanted a handgun for the house or for the truck, or you saw an AR-15 and you thought I got to have one of those, or whatever the reason was that you actually bought your first gun. And then we take a look at down the road, and for some of it's been a while, some of it's been a long while, and for others it's been a very short time. But how has our gun buying procedures and philosophies, whether you bought every gun for a specific reason or purpose, or you buy guns because of the way they look, or are you a collector? I'm waiting to see to get to Cycle Camp, because Cycle Camp's going to run through the gamut here, so I might have him go last. But let's start out this time. John, you want to get involved? Oh wait, you're in New York. Do you own any? Are you allowed to own any guns in New York?
We can't even own any sharp sticks.
Yeah, he's got slingshots that are banned in New York.
Yeah.
What are slingshots?
Yeah, we'll go back the other way. Tardot, from the first time you bought your first gun to now, kind of go through, what did you buy your first gun? What was the reason that you bought it? Was it a specific purpose or what? And then kind of go along throughout time. And has your philosophy changed as to buying guns, or do you still have a process as to buying them?
Well, the very first gun I ever got was actually a 22 single shot rifle that my dad gave me when I was in high school. And at that point, I'd really never shot. So we'll fast forward very far into the future from that. When me and Gunpowder actually got together, her parents are heavily into hunting. She's heavily into hunting. So, of course, when I got with her and they were inviting me hunting, I was like, all for it, gung ho, let's go. So I started hunting with them. And the first gun I actually bought was a Heritage 22 revolver. And that was more of just to have a snake gun while I was out there in the field. But from there, like, it went to that. We were buying, and I mean, it went all over the board, and it still is. We bought a AK from my father-in-law. I've bought hunting rifles. A lot of the focus at first was hunting, but at this point, it's whatever I see that I like. So, we have the AK. I've got some SIG semi-auto pistols, and I still have my love for revolvers. Right now, our big focus seems to be more self-defense, anything we can use for self-defense. But I've pretty much run the gambit all over the place with types and reasons. We've got a shotgun we bought from my stepdad, or from my father-in-law, and I actually did a video on it. We bought it because we wanted the 410 he was selling with it, so we could give it to the kids in the future. And it ended up being a L.C. Smith from back in the 40s, this double barrel break action shotgun, 12 gauge. And we bought it just because, and it's one of those guns, it's going to be one of those antiques that it's kind of beat up shotgun, but one of those guns will hang on the wall probably here eventually and just never really mess with too much anymore.
Right. So there are some people out there that every gun they buy is for a specific reason. Have you ever, I think everyone's bought a gun for concealed carry or for hunting, but so you really don't have a specific process where I'm not going to go buy a gun unless I'm using it for this or this. It's sometimes you just like, hey, that's a cool gun, and I
when
got the
we
money.
when we when me and her got together, and I actually got her more into the self defense side of it.
Yeah.
We started off, like I said, we bought a few guns here and there, um, just because we needed one for self defense, like some of the SIG semi-autos. That's what it was.
Right.
The Ruger SP 101, that was more of self defense. But really, it just comes down to, I look at it, and if I go, hey, I want to have that gun, I don't really have any roles that need to be filled. And pretty much from the get go, we really didn't, because we dove in, and I mean, we went head first and blew a lot of money just buying all kinds of guns. And a lot of it comes down to family too, because even the 1911, I have the Smith and Wesson 1911. My dad sold me that gun for half price. So it just comes down to my family being like, okay, hey, we're wanting to get rid of this gun, and they just kind of sell it to us cheap, or cheaper at least.
Yeah. RL out there says he has a job that suits just about any purpose. I think of this point, so he just buys whatever looks cool when he's out and about. Calaveras says he has a specific reason, he just wants it. So yeah, it's one of those things where, like I said, I personally, when I first started buying guns, every gun that I bought was for a specific reason, whether it was a concealed carry handgun or a truck gun or a home defense gun or whatever. And obviously, over time, that kind of changes a little bit. You say, "Well, I've always wanted one of those, or I always wanted one of those," and so, yeah,
Well, and when
over
it comes
time,
down to it for us, I mean, we can always find a new reason for needing a new gun.
yeah, if you actually need a reason to buy a gun, those are easy to find.
The reason's easy. Now, which gun to get is difficult sometimes.
That's right. That's right. Feisty,
Yes, sir.
your buying experience. Now you've gone from buying to actually building a lot of your stuff. So tell us how you got into that.
Yes. So I started off like most people, inheriting my first gun. That was my late great granddad's bring back Type 99 Arasaka. That was a pretty cool rifle. I never shot it. Probably never will. It's in such bad condition. It probably burst in my face. But after that, I decided that I wanted to get an AR-15, and that was at about 14 years old. But you have to be 18 to own a rifle. So my dad got me one, and my dad is the kind of guy who I'll tell him, well, I want this, this, and this, and if he doesn't think that it's good, then he'll get what he wants, right? So I got the AR-15 that my dad wanted, but I wound up selling that to a neighbor, and then getting the one that I wanted, and ever since then, I kind of figured, this is pretty cool, but there are some more exotic things out there. So the next one that I wound up working on was a 1986 Tula AKS 74U kit that I built up. And that was a great rifle. I wound up selling that to fund a new purchase, which was a Steyr AUG, which I converted into an AUG CQC. That was a really great rifle. And then I sold that to fund a G36 clone built by Tommy Built Tactical. And we go so on and so forth. And I got to probably one of the rarest ones that I built. I have a friend who I went to college with, who went to work for the FMV, which is Sweden's Military Hardware Distribution Bureau. And I got myself a demilled AK-5A kit, and I built that up on an FNC receiver. The only AK-5 that I believe is in the United States currently, and I sold it to a friend of mine. So I kind of been tumbling with it, and I make money on these, believe it or not, right? It's good to have connections. So I'm actually currently looking at making my own clones of a certain really cool subgun that the Russians had, and I think it was fielded first in 1996. But here's the magazine for it. It's a helical magazine. All the rounds go in a spiral from back to front, and it is it's the PP19 Bizon. So the Bizon is a really interesting design, and it's what birthed the PP19 Vityaz. And I just kind of fell in love with it because it's just such a cool little subgun. But I'm actually a lot of the parts are out right now being scanned and modeled, and I'm going to write the CAD coding for it. And then I have a friend that works for Voltor that has taken an interest in producing the parts. So we'll see how that goes. But it's been a wild ride.
Method for business? Is there any method to what you're wanting to build next, or you have a list that you say I want to get to these, or you sit there and say, man, I should build this? I mean, how do you figure out what your next build is?
It's kind of weird. I look for interesting design aspects, and I guess that comes from being an engineer. If there's something really cool about the way that it functions, like for the Bizon, it's the fact that it uses helical magazines that don't necessarily suck like the Calicos. And if I think that there's a way that I can improve on the design. So one of my plans for this is to build a magazine adapter for MP5 or UMP9 or Vityaz magazines. And I'll go for it. I've got the design aspect under my belt as an engineer, and it's a lot of fun. I get to basically know the weapon that I'm making inside and out, and I really like that about building my own.
Yeah. Clover, your wife's out there talking about your gun collection. I don't know if you need to be worried about this. Usually when wives start talking about insurance, life insurance policies, you kind of get worried. Now, she's not saying that she just updated or upgraded your life insurance policy, but she is very, very aware that your gun collection is your life insurance policy. So how do you feel about that, buddy?
It's always been that way. She's one of those, she mentioned it out there, I think, but one of them things where I get it all the time. I'm sure everybody else, maybe some people in the chat here on the panel, maybe even they're the type of people that have said it occasionally. But somebody goes, "Well, I really would like to have this, but my old lady just won't let me have it." I've never had that problem, and they go, "You know what I mean?" And slap me on the back, and I look at them stone cold and say, "No, I don't know what you mean."
Sorry.
She's always been one that's realized that that's something you can enjoy while you're here. And then when I'm gone, she can sell it. And then in a way she can enjoy it. Right. So
your wife and my wife have the same issue. They're called enablers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, basically. Have y'all met Gunpowder? Because she is probably the biggest enabler.
Yeah. She can, she's actually wanted to say, hey, take me to the gun shop, so. Well, Matt's joining us. What's going on, Matt? We're talking about the evolution of buying, and I know that you bought, sold, and bought more guns than a lot of people have. But from the time that you bought your first gun to now, has the thought processes changed as far as why you're buying guns, or has it become like an addiction now, or because it can be very addicting.
Oh, well, it's definitely an addiction. I mean, it's it's like anything. It's like any hobby you pick up, even though it's more than a hobby, right? So for some people, it's RC cars. For some people, it's model airplanes. For some people, it's baseball cards. It's some people, it's comic books. It's for me, it's guns that cost hundreds of dollars or more. And it's just for all of us. It's an addiction of sorts. It's a hobby, and those can become addictive. But as far as the thought process goes, I mean, yeah, that's always evolving and changing. I've been through so many different reasons for buying guns. I mean, the first gun I ever had, I didn't technically buy it. It was given to me when I was 16. It was 16, and it was a 16 gauge double barrel Stevens. And, just as, hey, here's something. It was from a friend of mine's dad. He had it. He just gave it to me. And then when I was 18, I bought my first gun. It was a little Llama 1911. And, it actually took a long time before I ever owned more than like 3 or 4 guns at a time. I was probably 30 before I finally got into the mentality of, well, I'm just going to start keeping the stuff that I have, 28, 30, something like that, because it used to be, well, I'd have a shotgun, I'd have a rifle,
guns,
yeah.
And
I would just kind of be like, well, I'm tired of this one. I want to get another one. So I'd sell one to buy another one. And I always had, 3, maybe 4 guns laying around the house. And that was pretty much it. And, and that was enough. And then it wasn't really the the prepping thing per se, but that was part of it. Because I'd always been a prepper, and I knew I always had the guns that I needed. I always had enough. It's like, okay, with these 3 or 4, I'm good, you know, if I need to. But then it became apparent with a lot of stuff going on, and this is all around the same time. Everybody started freaking out around the same time, right towards the end of George Bush's run. You know, there's a lot of political stuff going on, and it's kind of like, you know, maybe I'll just start keeping all the guns. And at that time, I'd already been kind of starting to stockpile up on ammo. You know, this is about 10 years ago. And it just kind of built from that. And there was even a period of time where I started getting rid of a bunch of guns and just started being like, okay, I'm only going to focus on these calibers, because I got like real hardcore into the prepping aspect of it. Like, I only need guns that shoot these calibers. I'm going to get rid of everything else. And then I got over that nonsense and started just saying, screw it, whatever. Yeah, it's constantly evolving and changing. And now it's just
Taurus, right? That's your goal, is to own one of every kind of Taurus.
Exactly. I'll be happy. But no, I mean, it's, you know, now it's I got more than enough guns for everybody in my family. If shit really did hit the fan and it was ever that bad, right? You know, if there's ever another revolution, I mean, we're good. So I just buy guns that I want, you know, now. I mean, and you know, occasionally I see something that I like, well, you know what, I'd rather have that than one that's in my collection. Maybe I'll swap them out. But for the most part, I try to just add to the collection and not. I never walk away at a net loss. You never walk away from you always got to be moving forward. Sometimes it requires swapping one for one. That's fine on occasion, but if you can always try to be adding, I think that's a good way to go.
Yeah. Let's see your attack. You know, you have an interesting thing where, you know, you've gone from buying guns to reviewing a lot of guns, but when you are in the market for actually looking for a gun, are you looking for guns that fit a specific genre of gun, or for a specific purpose, or is it just kind of whatever you know, whatever you can get your hands on?
At this point, EDC is pretty much taken care of with a couple different options. AKs are pretty much taken care of. ARs are pretty much taken care of. So now it's kind of like long range. And, you know, again, AR pistols that are unique, or a certain build that you want to work around something. You know, you maybe get let's say a 9mm lower, you know, and you want to build something out from that and things like that. But for the most part, the off-the-shelf days are kind of not really part of what I do anymore, only because, like I said, I'm probably not like Matt, but to the point, you know, I could arm the neighborhood.
Right. Yeah. Well, and you're also, like you said, you're talking about things now that not off the shelf. You're looking, if you're going to get something, it's going to be more customized to your specific wants or needs and all of that. And that's kind of the next evolution of just buying off the shelf versus when you buy it off the shelf, then you go and modify it and everything that's on the gun, or you send it to a Wilson Combat or Nighthawk and have them customize or whatever you're trying to do. But you know, there are a lot of people that have gone from buying off the shelf to a whole new level of, when you get done with that gun, it looks and feels nothing like it was when you first bought the gun. And that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I can see for someone, it's got everything in the arsenal that they want. And now it's more picking and choosing rare guns or fun guns just to be toys and all of that. So, you know, there are a lot of people that haven't reached that level yet, you know, and that's kind of a fun point when you get there. Is now I've got all the bases covered. Now it's just for fun. Like, let's go find some toys at this point.
Pretty much. And you know, color as you seem smart. I heard Matt say you know, the net positive. I agree with that philosophy 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here he goes.
Graham? What's up,
Joe? RL Sear says the only time you can have too many guns or ammo is if you're swimming or on fire. And with that being said, we're going to go in for a quick commercial station break. Don't forget, hashtag GunChannels Blitz. GunChannels Blitz. Please check out this channel.
We're going with
556.
Right, that's right.
I'll put up the links out there for you guys, so go ahead and check him out. And go ahead and subscribe to him. Alaskan 556. You are Ghost Tactical's evening gun channels blitz. And also don't forget, please go check out Ghost Tactical over on Trinding. Go ahead and check them out over there. If you know anybody over there, go ahead and subscribe with them and watch all the awesome videos coming to you from ghosttactical.us.
Yeah,
And
midnight's
back
out
to our show.
into a damn food chat again. So you're not going to do that this time, Travis. But yeah, we for
I
you
was
guys.
trying to go over it so you wouldn't notice it or mention it.
Yeah, I understand.
The Trev I got you again.
The Travi, damn Travi.
They want
but
to
yeah,
overthrow everything and just talk about mac and cheese all the time.
I mean, I can talk about mac and cheese all the time. Mac and cheese is some good stuff, man. I love it.
Mac and
But we're
cheese.
talking
Oh, yeah.
guys, and what we're trying to do with the Gun Channels Blitz is we're trying to help out the smaller and younger channels that are just turning the cameras on, that are trying to reach certain milestones, and typically we're trying to find the channels that are trying to get to the 100 sub milestone, because the 100 sub milestone is pretty an important milestone for a young channel. One, you get your customized URL on YouTube, and for the branding and the marketing aspect of your channel, that is pretty important. But you get the use of going live from your cell phone, which is may or may not be something that you like to do. But like Clover said in one of his chats, is reaching that 100 sub mark is just a cool experience for someone who's just starting out, because you sit there and you probably start out as a hobby and thinking no one's going to watch, and you get a few subs and you get a few more subs. Next thing you know, you hit 100. And I promise you, once you hit that 100 mark, they kind of come pretty quickly after that. So we're trying to find some channels out there that we watch. So what we're asking you guys to do, and tonight we're going with Alaskan 556. He's on a lot of people's shows in the chat, supports a lot of the shows right now. And he's got a few videos out there in the last month. And so he's obviously trying to turn his camera on right now. And so what we're doing is we're not saying just go sub him. What we're saying is go to his channel, watch a video or two of his. If you like it, then subscribe to him, click the notification bell. More importantly, find one of the videos that you do like, and in the comment section, just hit hashtag Gun Channels Blitz. So I'll put it out there, Gun Channels Blitz. Hashtag Gun Channels Blitz. That lets them know that we're out there, we're supporting them. And, sometimes just a little kick in the tail or a little nice comment or whatever can mean the world to a small channel, because sometimes they might not get a lot of views or comments and they don't know if it's being received well or not. So if you like his stuff, subscribe to him. Hey, AC, what's going on, my man? Subscribe to him. D-Tim's out there. I haven't seen D-Timp in a while. But subscribe to him, and just, like I said, hashtag Gun Channels Blitz. So Alaskan 556 is our channel for the night. All right, so let's get back into the discussion. Grim, let's get into you and your gun buying experiences. Have they changed, and if so, how have they changed over time?
Well, let me see. The first one I bought was because I turned 18, which was old Marlin 22. Something to plink with. But other than that, the only specific reason I bought anything was for once I got my conceal and carry license, but other than that, it's just no rhyme or reason. And I'm kind of in the same boat as Clover. If she'll let me buy whatever, I'd go broke, but no, just usually some of the, I don't know, whatever catches my eye. Some of the older things, I'm more into the Milsurp, just kind of, and I don't have very many. I mean, I'd have to count, but I don't have that many. Probably, a few, but no rhyme or reason. Just if something looks cool and then something I can tinker with, because that's the main thing, is just something I can take apart, start learning how to mess with the gun, just like that, or something, with a little historical, I just pick it up and Except for the, like I said, except for the LCP I just bought, and that's because she wanted it. But really no rhyme
The
or reason,
LCP
just because you can.
reason.
Which
The
one?
LCP is a good investment because it can do a lot of different. The LCP that can be used
Oh,
for a lot of
yeah.
different things. That's not a bad gun to go buy.
I was surprised when I got it. It feels tiny, but
Right.
I mean, yeah, you can put that thing in your, you can hide that thing just about anywhere, and no one notices. Other than that, like I said, it's just basic. Stayed with basic calibers, but my next thing is an AK. That's what I'm looking for.
I
That'll be
love
my
the AK
next.
platform.
Which one?
I love the AK platform. That's probably my favorite rifle platform.
Yeah, well, that'll be my
All
next
right.
fix here.
Well, I want to go to Clover right now because I'm saving Cycle Camp for the last because he's got a crazy background and history with guns. So I'm gonna go with Clover, who's had probably just equally as crazy. But I'm gonna start with Clover. So explain to me where your evolution has gone from.
Well, I don't, early on anyway. I don't think I started out any different than most. I think it's pretty common. The evolution. Well, that went on with me. I mean, it kind of started out with hunting. It was a hunting rifle or a hunting shotgun. That type of thing, and then from there it kind of moves into self defense as you get older. You know what I mean? It kind of goes from just hunting or whatever into self defense. Then from there it moved into competition with me, which is, it's not so much an evolution. It really is. I didn't move into something else. I kind of added a different purpose as time went on. And then once that collection starts to grow, especially if you're like me and you're a person that doesn't sell or trade anything, I say all the time, there's a purpose for just about any firearm out there, in my opinion. I tend to see the good in them a lot of times, and one of the an example is the Jimenez, the little 22. That as far as putting some 22 snake shot or rat shot in that dude, and manually cycling it, because it obviously won't cycle those well at all, if at all. But I mean, it works great for that purpose, and it's a cheap, whatever, $75 pistol or something at the time when I bought it. So, you just see I don't know, you see the uses for stuff, and one of the things that I progressed in as far as a collection, I really like the early 1900 stuff. So I mean, I kind of found a special place in my heart and in my collection for that. That stuff's Americana, the Depression era, the stuff that if it wasn't putting food on the table, then it was keeping varmints out of the crops so you could put food on the table. The stuff that you could buy in department stores. You're talking about your
Roebuck stuff, yeah.
Yeah, not just your Shears and Roebucks and your J.C. Penney's and your Montgomery Wards and your stuff like that. But even before that, you had H&Rs and H&As and Ivor Johnsons and that sort of stuff that you could buy in the feed stores and whatnot. And that's kind of the earlier progression, I guess, of the department store guns. But that type of stuff, and those are cheap. You can pick that stuff up generally really cheap. And there's just so much history where there's not, if you run out and buy a new firearm, or even, an off-the-shelf firearm over the last, let's say, 20 years, what are the odds there's any kind of history when you sit down and think about, what has this firearm been through, right?
Right.
Those from the early 1900s, sometimes just to open up the safe, or, walk into the gun room, or however you have it set up, and see those, and just get to thinking about the history that's in that safe or in that room, and everything those guns have seen and done, and how many people have they fed, and that sort of thing. So I guess there's way more to it than just having the newest, coolest toy to play with. And that's sort of the if you could call it a progression, I would say that's probably where I am now and where I've ended up. I look more at the history and the uniqueness of it, then
Sure, absolutely.
it's the newest, coolest toy. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I got to bring this up. Russ Carr, the big bore out there, said that they actually had an LCP match. This is for Grimm. That it was a match they shot only LCPs from 100 yards. Now he does say that they were man-sized targets, but an LCP to 100 yards has got to be an incredibly difficult shot, to say the least.
100 yards, seriously.
That's what he says. That's what he says.
Yeah, I seen it. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's I don't know,
It's a
that little thing,
25-foot,
that little, yeah,
field carry gun.
yeah, that's up close. And for me, like I've said before, that kills. Like this past weekend when I went, that was the last thing I shot. And literally, I just put a couple rounds just to make sure I was still on target, because my hand will go numb by the second magazine. Because I have nerve damage in my hand, and I've learned to shoot right-handed for that reason. But dude, that's brutal.
That is brutal. All right, now not Clover, but Cycle Camp. Cycle's been he's probably lost more guns than I've ever owned. This guy is a true collector. He has some amazing rifles that I personally know of that's in his collection. But I know that you've been buying and selling and all that for years and years. So kind of take us on the trip of your life as a gun buyer and all of that, because it's really fascinating.
So it's fairly similar to Clover's in that I started, the first gun I ever bought was a Mossberg 500 when I was 16 and didn't know I couldn't buy a gun then. They took it on layaway, and when I went to free it, they wouldn't give it to me, and so I had to have my step uncle come and get it. But again, it was for hunting.
Mossberg 500s way back then.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're talking Civil War time here,
Yeah, I know. I didn't know they even had pump action technology back then.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Good stuff. Right. So and that was for duck hunting. I needed a gun for duck hunting.
They had ducks back then?
Yeah, we had ducks too.
I didn't know they had evolved to that point yet. Okay, go ahead.
But they didn't have feathers. They had webbing.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Oh,
so they're warm weather birds
scales.
at that.
They had scales.
And that's basically all I had for the first couple of years. And then my dad liked to hunt, but he never really took us out as kids much when we hunted, because when he hunted, it was because he was feeding the family. He didn't want his kids around. So, but him and my mom got divorced, and we started spending weekends together and stuff. And so we started hunting together, and I would borrow guns or he would provide guns. And I decided I really wanted my own gun. So I went out and bought a little Italian Milsurp and Oviedo and sportsterized it. And I used that for a while. And then because I had a long gun that shot an expensive caliber, I needed a 22 to practice with. So I got a couple small Glenfields and things like that. And we were out shooting pigs one time, and there was a guy there shooting pigs with a handgun. And I said, man, that looks like a lot of fun. So I went out and bought some 44 Magnum handguns, but I couldn't practice with those because it was really expensive. So I went out and bought, a couple of 22 revolvers to practice with. And that was pretty much it for a couple of years. And then I had a good friend die, and he had a small collection, maybe 15, 18 guns. And he was elderly. He was like my dad's age. He was really old, older than my dad's age, actually more like my grandfather's age. And I ended up buying his whole collection, because it just made it easier on his widow. I just said, I'll make you an offer. I'll buy the whole collection. And he had some very unusual guns in there. And I ended up, I'm like, well, I'm only going to keep the ones I'm going to hunt with. So I kept quite a few of them, but I sold the rest of them for and I got what I had paid for the collection back out of it. I'd run like that for a while, but because the collection had some other handguns in it, that's when I got my carry permit here in Connecticut. So I got my carry permit. So now I've got a smattering of revolvers, a smattering of rifles, a smattering of shotguns. They're all working guns pretty much. I had one or two guns that were really special. Like he had one of those 410 22 octagonal barrel combinations. I wasn't going to get rid of that, things like that. And then really what ended up happening was I moved where I am now, and I joined this gun club that I'm in, and they had all these really great matches, and some of the matches were like pre-1890. Well, so now I got to go buy a pre-1890 gun.
Well, of course.
And I bought the wrong one the first time, so I had to go buy a different one because I didn't like the one I bought. So, but like Clover, I don't sell guns anymore. I learned my lesson. I don't sell guns anymore or trade them. And they had a Garand match, so I had to go buy a Garand. And they had a carbine match, so I had to buy a carbine. And they had AR-15 matches, so I had to buy an AR-15. And what I discovered was I really liked older guns. I really liked, and I'm an action collector. I like weird actions. If the gun has a funny action, I like to get an example of it. And it turns out the most economical way to do that is to go for military surplus, because they made hundreds of thousands of them, and you can usually get them a lot cheaper. So rather than go buy, the commercial guns that were hanging around where they didn't sell as many, I look for military surplus guns. So I started buying military surplus guns for unique actions, like the Swiss straight pull K31, or you got to have a Mauser, you got to have that Vetterli that I bought in Tulsa, that kind of stuff. So I bought those kinds. I started buying that kind of stuff, and that led me into what's the cheapest way I could get my hands on a gun, and that's when I started buying guns that were beat up real bad that needed a little help. And that's when I started buying guns that were missing parts.
And I've seen you buy some rifles at Tulsa, and for the most part, you've gotten pretty lucky in some of these rifles that needed enough work where you got to get them for a good deal, but yet not a whole lot of work to where they didn't fire pretty quickly after you got them. So do you look for those kind of rifles, or you just kind of get lucky sometimes?
Most of the time I'm looking for those. I bring like a barrel a scope with me and stuff like that, a bore scope, I've never had to rebarrel a gun, though that 1902 rolling block came awful close. But I'm not going to fire it very many times, so I'm not too worried about it. But generally speaking, I do try to find guns where the barrels are filthy but not rust encrusted. So, and no obvious big pitting and all that kind of stuff. But that's basically how I started getting into the. So the milsurps, what I'm trying to do now is for each country that I'm interested in, I'm trying to find a handgun, a bolt gun, and a military battle semi-automatic for each of these guys. And I've got, there's like 5 countries that I've started with. And that's how I kind of focus my collection now. So unusual actions, like I still don't have a falling block. And that's one of the things on my list for Tulsa. I'd like to get a falling block rifle.
You might find one that at Wanamaker, possibly.
Yeah, and I'm looking for a 4570, something I can use to like whack pigs and stuff. But I'm also looking for like I need a Webley and need a Nambu, and I need other stuff like that to start filling in some of the parts of my collection I'm trying to fill in. But I don't buy museum quality guns. My guns are all shooters that just represent those guns. So they're not, they're dinged up, scratches on them and stuff. And I don't worry about if I happen to get all numbers matching, hey, that's fine, but I don't care. I just want an operating version of that gun, so I know what it was like to shoot it. That's my thing. Like Clover was saying about where's the gun been? What has it done? Well, my Milturp collection is like that. It's like, what did it feel like for a guy to hold a 41 rimfire Vetterli and actually fire the thing? What was that guy feeling at the time, or a Carcano, or a French Berthier, or that kind of thing. So that I get a lot of fun out of that.
That Carcano that you did a video on last week was a really beautiful rifle, and it looks from the video. I don't know if you've done a lot of the work yourself or that's how you got it, but it looked like it was in phenomenal condition.
That was in really good shape, and I fell into that one. I happened to go to I had the 1941, which is all messed up that I'm still trying to get parts for, and I fell into this 1891 at a gun show, and it was missing a part which I fabricated and made the video about, but it was just so lucky, and I haven't shot it yet though. So we'll the proof is in the pudding. When it warms up, I'll be taking that one out. But that's how so everything was like a natural lead in. First it was the hunting, and then it was the target shooting, and then it was the special matches, and then it was an interest in guns with different kinds of actions, and now it's more like a military surplus bent.
Yeah, and for me, it was starting out with concealed carry guns, and I love different CCW guns. I like I'm a handgun guy. Not that I dislike rifles by any means, but I'm a handgun guy. Started with CCW, home defense, truck guns. Then it moved into the competition. When I started shooting competition, is getting into the competition guns, and then it's you get the AR, you got the AK, you got the pistol caliber carbine, and you try to start touching all those different things, and now it's just kind of turned into I've kind of got my bases covered, and now it's just if there's something out there that is new and exciting and something that looks cool that I'll be interested in, that's kind of where I'm at. Is I've kind of got the bases covered with the home self defense and competition and all that. So now it's have a good time shooting stuff, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. We're going to start kind of closing this one out. I know that Night Strike started a few minutes ago for Hit or Miss. So if you want to go check out Night Strike, his YouTube channel is Night Strike 1. If you're on the Gun Channel side, it's Hit or Miss with dashes in between each word. So go check him out over there. We're going to be closing out here in a minute. I do want to run through the room one more time and let our panel guests say any closing comments, plug anything they got to plug, and all of that stuff. So let's start with Tardot.
Well, thank you for having me. Guys, don't forget, Saturday, we're going to have Clearing the Chamber. We're moving it up and actually an hour early. It is going to be starting at 8 Eastern. And, of course, don't forget about Unloaded Media. That's going to be taking the spot pretty much. It's going to be 9:30 Eastern. And the one thing I do want to point out, if you notice what Cycle said, and this is how you kind of know you've hit that point of a passion, or dare I say it, addiction, is when you go, I need that gun. I need that gun. You start pointing it out saying, I need this.
I need this to fill out this collection over here. I need this one to fill a collection over here. Yeah. Needs an operative is the operative word there. And it's also a very dangerous word.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for coming on, buddy. And I'm excited about your shows the last couple of weeks with Clearing the Chamber has been awesome. I'm looking forward to you and Gunpowder and John and Rich with Unloaded Media. And I know she's out there. I want to say, hey, what's up, Callanan? I want to say hey to Gunpowder Beauty and Armintha and Al and Anchor and Liz with Jelsma. The girl, the Gun Gals chat. I'm not sure if they're going to call it the Gun Gals. I'll call it the Gun Gals chat that was on Sunday night. The four of them I thought was phenomenal. We've talked about this a lot. That I think that's a demographic that is completely untapped in the gun media community, that I think they've got a potential of doing something really special with that. Not saying they're the only show in town, but I think that they could position themselves to being a really fun, because it's not like they're tactical chicks out there, or they're not their gun bunnies. They're out there normal, everyday wives and mothers and sisters and all of that happen to have guns, seem to enjoy guns, and they don't take themselves too seriously, because some of them are very new to guns or have little experience. But I like the fact that they're not afraid to turn a camera on and talk about their experiences with guns and all that. So I think that they should be very, very proud of themselves. I thought it was a great show.
And let's
go ahead and plug Armintha also. It's Clover's wife. Her channel is at Armintha Dover. So go check her out and give her some love, because she was really nervous jumping on that chat Sunday night.
Yeah, as I say, yeah, I was echo that about Armintha, and she's had some pretty good videos that have been showing up here recently.
Oh yeah. Matt, you've got your chat tomorrow night and then Sunday, but you want to go ahead and plug anything that you're working on the chats or in the produced side of things?
Nah, I don't need to plug anything. I'm not too worried about that. But I do just want to add to some stuff that was said earlier. People talking about they've hit a point in their collection where they've got all their bases covered. One place you always want to look, and this goes to what Cycle Camp and some other people were talking about, hit that milsurp market, man. Milsurp guns. Yeah. The first of all, there's all kinds of awesome stuff out there, ridiculously cheap, and it doesn't get cheaper. This stuff only gets more expensive because it's no longer manufactured. When you see a good deal, jump on it. Classic Firearms, JG Sales, these are great places to go to catch this cool stuff that, you know, maybe you only paid. I mean, I've got tons of guns that, you know, I remember paying $79 for most of the guns. Now they sell for $250 to $350. Things just go up in price because these things are no longer manufactured. So it's a cool way to get a lot of cool guns for a really good price is the Milcert market. Also, the other thing we are just talking about there with the, females in the gun community, it is a ridiculously underserved market. Because I've been on, I dare say I've been on YouTube longer than anybody else in here. And it's been a shit show for women on YouTube. It's all just people starting channels. Usually it's a boyfriend or a husband to start a channel just so that he can show off his girlfriend wearing a fucking tank top and, you know, Daisy Dukes shooting a fucking gun. And it's bullshit. It really is. It's absolute bullshit. It's not real. It's how many views can I've seen good channels in 8 years on YouTube. And I'll call some of them out. Corey and Erica. I loved Corey's channel before he brought his girlfriend into it. He had real ideas and thoughts and things on stuff. I don't even know where they're at anymore. I haven't watched them in years. But the minute he decided to do a video that got a lot of views with his girlfriend in it, his channel turned completely into that. And it's bullshit. There are millions and millions of women who own guns. My wives, all of our wives in here own guns, and there needs to be more people out there that they can have conversations with and relate to. So it's awesome that people are actually doing that in a real way, not in a, let me run to the range in my Daisy Dukes and you can watch me shoot an AR. No, fuck that. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. I hate those videos. I encourage everybody not to watch those videos because it's just stupid. I think
it actually hurts. It actually hurts the community in the long run because that's what people think automatically when they see girl and gun. That's what they come to think of. It's a gun bunny instead of actually taking someone who's trying to have a serious conversation about firearms. They're never taken seriously because of these idiots out there.
Exactly. And it doesn't even have to be a serious conversation about firearms. It can just be real people just like us. Look, my shows are filled with mostly ridiculous crap. Okay. You were on my show last night. There was really nothing valid or real or serious about that show last night, but at least people know when they watch it, we're real people. And this is something we care about, guns, right? And gun rights. Right. The same thing should go for women out there. And to have channels that are doing that in a real way, that are real people, you know, is awesome. You know, that's something that should be encouraged across the board. So
I agree 100%. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like you said, you've got your guns and politics chat tomorrow night and your triggered chat Sunday night. Go check out if you guys are wondering anything about the Taco Bell nacho fries. He's got yourself a damn good video out there.
I'm doing that again on Saturday, man. I can't wait. It's a treat. It's a treat to save it for myself.
I think that's been a daily event for me. I think
I've been doing it.
I will be rioting with Matt when they take those off the menu. By the way,
oh God, it's going to be.
It's coming, right?
Many. I'm going to be so disappointed.
We're going to have to
regular thing.
We'll have to super chat Bell money. I can promise you.
Oh. I'm going to be very depressed.
Feisty, what Now, I know that you said you're working on cool builds right now, and you even said that you might even turn the camera on. There may be an inclination to turn a camera on here or there with some of your builds, but have you ever thought, with all the builds that you do, have you ever thought about filming some of those and putting those as content? Because I think there'd be a lot of people, because you build stuff that people don't see or talk about in everyday gun community. So I think there'd be a lot of people that'd be interested in seeing some of the stuff you build.
I think so. I typically like to put up the parts kit and then the finished product, and I don't really put anything in between unless it looks good, which usually it doesn't until it's done. But it's a possibility. But you're right. Not a lot of people know about some of these firearms. The Bizon, I guess, is kind of the odd one out because people play games like Battlefield and all that other shit, and that's been in there. And so maybe I tend to just share it on different communities like AK Files or you name it. I know Uzi Talk has a bunch of sub forums that I've posted in. especially on that AK5 that I built. But it's a possibility.
You look tired, bro. Yeah, a long day at work. I'm sure you did. But
Yeah, since 3
thanks for
o'clock.
coming on, man. I appreciate you coming on and all that. So
Yeah,
now,
man.
Tack, which one of your 17 hats do you want to talk about tonight?
Gun News Weekly Thursday night. And Matt, I'll pitch Matt's show. If you grew up and you like Dungeons and Dragons, you will love Never Enough Ammo.
That Monday chat is about as good as it gets for the gun guy who's also kind of the sci-fi guy. Also, that Monday chat's for you, for sure. Last night we had an epic top 10. An epic top 10. We had the best 10, the top 10 bands of all time. We're not talking era related. We're not talking genre related. We're talking your top 10 bands of all time. And I might be mistaken, but I want to say that through the panel that we had number 1 was AC/DC.
Yep.
Number 2 was the Beatles. Number 3 was Queen. Number 4 was maybe Metallica. Number 5 was
Led Zeppelin.
So
You
so
don't have
many
the
good
Bee
bands
Gees
on that
in the
list.
top 5. You can all go F yourselves.
who?
Bee Gees.
I don't even know if they were mentioned. Now, what we did do is off air after the show was over, we had the most epic
Karaoke chat.
Karaoke chat. Yeah, I don't know if it was good or terrible, but it was really
We
awesome.
should have recorded that. Everybody had been real entertained with that karaoke chat afterwards. It lasted for like an hour.
Can you imagine the views that thing would get?
Good God.
Tune in for Wanamaker because we will be going live from a karaoke place.
Yeah. That's going to be fun.
So, oh yeah.
Are you guys
Now,
going
Grim,
to
I
NRA?
know that.
Are you guys
What's
going
that?
to NRA are you going to NRA this year?
Yeah,
Matt,
in
you
May.
going?
Yeah, sure.
I am not able to get. No, I'm not able to go.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
It sucks because it's so close to me, but I couldn't get out of work.
The problem is y'all are going to be in my hometown now. So when you get to Dallas, you're in my neck of the woods there. So the problem is, yeah, but you're not going to be there. The problem is the clubs that you and I used to go to, Matt,
they don't exist.
Probably no longer existing. So they're probably parking lots or office buildings at this point. Grim, I know you've got school in the morning. I know that you guys are getting a lot of snow, but things are coming in. You got anything you guys need to talk about?
No, just if you guys get a chance, check out Budget Guns and Gears. I had sent them an article about here in Illinois. The Supreme Court actually overturned the 1,000-foot law from you had to be 1,000 feet away from a park, including if you lived across the street from the park. So check that out. He put out a cool little quick 12-minute video talking about it. But that was about it. Thanks for the invite. And yeah, just you guys stay fighting.
Yeah, I'm always glad to have you on, and I was excited to see you pop in because there are some nights that you just can't hop in, but you always get an invite anytime you get a chance. So glad to have you, bud.
Oh yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Cycle Camp, what you got going on right now?
I'm sorry, I'm busy making up names for Arminta's new show.
Right on. Well, the pistol packing mamas, I see that one out there. I like that one actually.
Yeah. No, not much going on. I'm just waiting for a break in the weather so I can shoot that Carcano and maybe reshoot my rolling block. And I did get word back the other day from Poland that they have finished the stock for my birthday and are getting ready to finish stamping the numbers in it and sending it to me. So I'm looking forward to that. So
you're about a month away or so.
A big start.
You're probably about a month away or so.
Yeah, I would think it's going to take a few weeks to get to me. I would think, but it's pretty close. I'm real excited for that.
Yeah, but go check out Cycle Camp's channel. He's got some. If you like the old rifles, man, he's got some beautiful ones, and I know he'll be added to the collection in April when we get to Wanamaker as well. So
we do pistols too.
What your list is?
Yeah, 1872 French, the Nagant. I've got a Whammo single shot made by the toy company. Lots of, and those are all videos are on there too. So
awesome. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Clover.
Hey.
You just keep adding shit to your schedule. You got a new Monday show, so
4 nights a
you're
week.
gonna be on you're 7 days a week. You're gonna be on basically in front of people, so that's awesome.
I'm looking to be the new Johnny Carson. What can I say?
Is that right? Okay. You know, they say that Tack Daddy is the hardest working man in the gun community. I think that you're giving him a run for his money right now.
I'm working on it.
Because not only does Tack Daddy sit here on the panel, but he just released a video about 20, 30 minutes ago. So,
Yeah.
you know, he's working hard right now. Now, what you got coming up, Clove?
I have live shows Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, impromptu shows in between there. The shot show stuff still coming out. Forgive me for all the blog stuff. Of course, that's well received, but I want to get that blog stuff out of the way.
Hello?
He lag out for everybody. I thought it was just me.
I didn't know that was just me or not.
Yeah, same here.
Clover.
I thought it was me. I was like, oh, shit.
Did you mute him?
Everybody's just quiet. We're all like, oh, shit. It's us.
Well, I heard somebody move the background. I said, okay, I'm still up. All right, I'm good. Well, if Clover comes back, then we'll let him do his thing. But guys, I want to you back? No, he's not. All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I don't know where the hell Clover went. Armintha, what did you do? Did you cut off his internet or
No,
did you?
It's Clover Queen.
It's Clover Queen. I do like it. I like that. Instead of Clover Tack, it's Clover Queen. Yeah, I like that. So Clover Queen is I think she might have done something to Clover, so
She found out he bought another gun. So
yeah. But I want to say thank you for everybody for coming and hanging out with us.
He lost power there. I know we've had some bad storms here in Dallas too.
Yeah, we're having some storms here. So I hear
all
you.
that stuff hitting you all up there is about to hit us tomorrow. So
yeah, it's supposed to be like the freezing rain here tonight. So we had to go to the grocery store and Grimm's probably laughing his ass off because he's got like a foot of snow up there, and so is Cycle Camp, just laughing their asses off at us. But we're just getting ready to have some freezing rain here in Arkansas, and like the entire fucking grocery store is sold out. So I mean,
I'm in Brownsville, Texas, and when they heard it was going to get down into the 20s, they closed down schools and all kinds of shit.
Yeah. Well, you guys hadn't had snow in like 100 years, though. I mean,
literally, it had been 113 years since we had snow, and we had snow for like 3 days straight. So it was unusual. It's funny watching a bunch of illegals try to drive in the snow. So
I guess I think John's soundboard's working now. Oh my God! He just said, "Shut up, Matt. You're boring." All right. Anyways, guys, well, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everybody coming in. Like I said, check out the channel. Check out all the social media stuff. Check out GunChannels. I've got a really cool interview that popped out yesterday from SHOT Show. Is with McKenna Dahl, and she is a Paralympic bronze medalist from the Rio Olympics for USA shooting. It's an amazing interview. She's an amazing role model. And honestly, it was the first time I'd ever not only seen it, but actually held an Olympic medal before. So that was really awesome. But yeah, go check out the SHOT Show stuff. I'm trying to do a little bit different. I'm not bringing everybody the major manufacturers that everyone's going to see 1,000 times. I try to do something a little different. So check those out. If not, then so be it. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and thumb it up and all that good stuff. I'm not going to plug that kind of stuff anymore. I will say one more time, the GunChannels Blitz for tonight is Alaskan 556. So go check him out. He's getting some videos out there. If you happen to like his videos, subscribe to him in the comment section. Hashtag GunChannels Blitz. That's kind of the hashtag that we're using, and we're trying to get the younger channels and the smaller channels up to that 100 sub mark and other milestones. But right now we're working on the 100 sub mark. So thanks a lot, guys, for joining me in the panel. I appreciate all the good stuff we're talking about tonight. And thank you to everybody out in the chat. I know some of you, we were up to almost 60 at one point for me. That's a pretty big chat. I think Night Strike and all those guys that were hit or miss are going right now. So thank you for everyone that hang on with us, and I appreciate it. Thanks everyone on the Gun Channel side. Thanks for John for producing tonight. It was our first time go at it, so we'll become a little more fluid as time goes. But I appreciate you looking out for me and all that. I'm glad the soundboard's working now at the end of the show. That's awesome. Other than that, guys, I can't think of anything else. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. It's been real. It's been nice. And it's been a good time. So thank you guys for watching. Semper Fi.